Hi, I'm sitting here with Diane Fettis Frederick with Keystone Support Services in Wichita, Kansas. And they work in the geriatric field care. And what is a geriatric care manager, Diane?
A geriatric care manager is a person or persons that are specially trained in the field of elder care. We advocate for families and for the elderly when it comes to making long-term care decisions or decisions based on short-term care.
It doesn't really matter the level of care, but many times a family may get overwhelmed. Is what do we need to do next? And is that kind of what a geriatric care manager would do to kind of go in and try to assess the situation and then point them in the right direction?
That's correct. We often get phone calls from families who are um, very concerned about a parent living at home alone, for example. And it's a difficult situation. Parents typically think they can still drive, cook, clean, and all of that. So they need someone to come in and try to help the situation, assess the situation for options that are available. So we'll do that. We'll go in and talk to the family members and the client, themselves, and tell them what we can do. We can provide housekeeping, laundry, running errands with them, medication management, and sometimes it's resisted. It's a process. But we try to provide peace of mind to the families so that when they are faced with these very difficult decisions, they know they can call on us and we'll help them, we'll walk them through the processes and be there for them during this very difficult time in their life.
I know that if someone's ever been in that situation to try to help care for a loved one or want to care for one but not even know what to do or where to start, that can be very, very burdensome. And it can really affect the well-being of the caregiver as well as the one that's going to receive the care. Do you see much of that as a caregiver?
We do. We see a lot of married couples, for example, where one is suffering with Alzheimer's disease and the other one is not. This is very difficult for the caregiver, the spouse that does not have the disease, especially if there's not very much understanding about what the Alzheimer's process does to an individual. Some things that appear to be completely out of whack to you and I are a normal process of the Alzheimer's disease. And so if you can teach families and provide guidance to them about what to expect with Alzheimer's disease or any disease, then it makes the transitional period a little less frightening. A lot of family members need respite care. They just need to get away for a while, so we can provide in-home care for a day, a week, a month, or off and on throughout the week. We have some that 3 hours a day, 3 days a week, just enough to get away from it for a while.
Yeah, because I've actually seen that myself, with my family and even some of my clients. But sometimes, you don't know where to go. If I had to go to a facility, what kind of a facility, what kind of care, what level of care is it? It can get just really, really confusing. And that's where being a geriatric care manager, you're familiar in the area with facilities, with caregivers and companies and the whole 9 yards, as it were. That's really in essence what you do, isn't it?
It is.
Guide.
We guide families. We certainly don't make decisions for anyone, but we guide them to learn as much as they can about a situation so that in the end they make an informed decision and a decision that they can have peace of mind about and that they can live with. A lot of families, for example, this is a typical client situation of ours, is that the parents live in Wichita. The children were born and raised in Wichita, but then they've moved on. Well, now their parents are still here, but they're in California or wherever in across the country, and they need someone to check on their parents to make sure that they're being cared for properly, make sure they get to appointments on time, check their medication, and that sort of thing. So we become a surrogate family member in Wichita for the families that live out of town, and this gives them a lot of comfort. They know they can call us anytime, and we can go over there and check on things if things seem to be out of whack, and just report to them and tell them what's going on.
I know that if I ever get to where I need extra care or I need to go through some major transition as I'm getting older, not old, but older, I know that I'm going to want a geriatric care manager because I know many times the family is great and well-meaning in what they do, but I wouldn't want bad decisions made for me, even with good intentions.
Right.
So, Diane, thank you so much for what you do.
Well, it's my pleasure.